For today's video, I'm going to be doing a walkthrough on how we beat the power level 128 FROSTNITE. And I'll leave a link to the entire gameplay in the description if you'd like to go check it out. And basically I'm just going to show the loadouts we used. I'm also going to show the traps that I used as well as the perks on them. I'm going to go over information you need to know in regards to each wave. And then towards the end of the video, I'm going to show the build. But before we get into all of that, I did want to point out that there is more than one way to beat the power level 128 FROSTNITE. As a matter of fact, I've seen it beaten at least 3 different ways over the past couple of days. So there's not one specific build or one specific set of hero loadouts that's going to help you make it. The thing with FROSTNITE this year, it seems like there's a lot of different ways to beat it. But for this one, I'm just going to show the method that we used. So before we take a look at the loadouts, I should probably point out that we were sort of going with 2 builders and 2 farmers. We had 1 constructor, 1 ninja, and 2 outlanders. And the ninja was the one helping building. And first we're going to take a look at one of our builder loadouts, and this is the one that I used. I had the Ice King as my commander with the recycling team perk. Definitely recommend using recycling. And for our support team, we had Mega Base Kyle, Power Base Penny, Base Kyle, Machinist Harper, and Bomb Squad Kyle. And the gadgets that we used were the teleporter and the slow field. The reason we used the teleporter is so we can get near the burner and put blue glow in and get back out to kill Husk or replace traps if we need to. And we used the slow field because obviously it slows down Husk, and the more you can slow them down, the better your chances are. So that's why we chose to use these 2. One thing I noticed is that it didn't seem like the Ice King's perk was working during the gameplay. So if you want, you could switch him out for Base Kyle. If you don't have a lot of durability on your traps, you could use Machinist Harper. And I think those are the main 3 I would recommend using for the constructor builder loadout. But yeah, this was the loadout that I used when we beat it. Our second builder was playing as a ninja because he finds it easier to build as a ninja. And for his commander, he had Fleetfoot Ken, and he was using Blast from the Past. For his support team, he had Dyer, Prehistoric Isa, Pathfinder Jess, Rex Jonesy, and Crossbones Barrett. And the gadgets he was using were turrets and slow field. And the way we divided up responsibilities between the 2 builders is basically we had our constructor build directly around the burner and focus on keeping all of that repaired, and we had our ninja builder focus on the area around the burner, and they also helped out with the lobber shield. So that's sort of how we divided up responsibilities between our 2 builders. Now we're going to take a look at the 2 farmer builds. One of our farmers was using Clip with a Blast from the Past, and for their support team they had Parasaur Jess, Fossil Southie, Archaeologist, Prehistoric Isa, and Crossbones Barrett. And the gadgets that they used were the turret and the slow field. And here's the loadout that our last farmer used. For her commander, she had Fossil Southie with Blast from the Past. For her support team, she had Rex Jonesy, Flash AC, Archaeologist, Prehistoric Isa, and Crossbones Barrett. And for her gadgets, she had Adrenaline Rush and Slow Field. So one thing I wanted to point out is that all 4 of us had the slow field, and I would recommend that you have at least 3 to 4 people with the slow field. And those are the loadouts that we all used when we beat it. But like I said earlier, there are a ton of different loadouts and a ton of different strategies that you can use to beat power level 128 FROSTNITE. I guess next up we'll go ahead and look at the traps that we used and the perks that we have on them. So the main trap that we used for our strategy were floor launchers. And here are the perks that we have on them. We have 3 durability perks, 3 impact and knockback, and we have the same exact thing on our wall launchers as well. Some other traps we used were broadside traps, ceiling drop traps, and ceiling gas traps. We also used wooden floor spikes, and I don't think you'll need durability on these because they have a lot of uses. And I also used wall spikes on the walls directly around the burner, but I didn't really use those that often. And we also used some anti-air traps. So I think the traps we ended up crafting most were floor launchers and anti-air traps, but we did craft quite a few of the other traps as well. Now when it comes to weapons, the main ones that we used were the deatomizer, which is really good for clearing huts, but you want to keep in mind that the energy ammo is going to be limited because you need batteries, and there's not a lot of batteries on the FROSTNITE map. So you're not going to be able to use it too much, but you may want to save it for the elimination waves. If you prefer, you could also use the xenon bow instead of the deatomizer, but this one also uses energy ammo. And the other weapon we used a lot was the blizzard blitzer, and we used this one for the Krampuses because after you shoot them 7 times it'll freeze them, and the more you can freeze them, the less damage they'll do to your base. So those were the main weapons that we used, but again, there's a lot of weapons you could probably use when it comes to FROSTNITE. I think Bundlebust would be a pretty decent one. Santa's Little Helper could also be pretty decent, as well as Mythic Storm King's Wrath. But those were the weapons that we used: the Blizzard Blitzer, the Atomizer, and the Xenon Bow. Alright, so now I'm going to show you a cheat sheet that's going to tell you what to expect for each wave. And I was able to get this from Magic, but I believe somebody named Angry Moth created it. So big shout out to them for making this cheat sheet for us. Basically on the far left you have the wave, directly next to that you have the 2019 FROSTNITE, and next to that you have the 2020 FROSTNITE. In the next column it'll show you what element you'll get for that wave during 2019, and next to that you'll see the element for 2020. The next column is going to show you which waves are elimination waves. After that, it'll show you the power level of the husk during that wave. And as you can tell, there's a huge difference between 2019 and 2020. Then the next couple of columns will show you when the wave starts and when the wave ends for both 2019 and 2020. The next 2 columns after that will show you how much time you have in between each wave. And the last 2 columns will tell you how long the wave lasts for both 2019 and 2020. So that's sort of what we're looking at here. For the first 3 waves, you're not going to get any elements. They're pretty straightforward and easy to complete, so I'm not going to waste any time on those. You will get your first elimination wave on wave 4, and that is a lobber wave. So you're going to want to have your lobber shield up before wave 4. And I don't think I had any power cells to craft any weapons at this point. You should be able to kill them with whatever weapons you found up to that point. Now after that, we have 3 more timed waves. On wave 5, you're going to get some flingers and a taker with no elements. On wave 6, you're going to get some flingers and a smasher with a water element. And on wave 7, you're going to get smashers and propanes with no element. And again, those are all timed waves, so technically you don't have to kill any of them. All you have to do is just survive the wave. But again, when it comes to smashers, takers, you may want to use that Blizzard Blitzer that I showed earlier, even on these non-elimination waves. Alright, so at wave 8, we get our first mini boss. You also get some takers, and this is another elimination wave with no element. And if you can, by this time, you may want to go ahead and craft you a weapon. The very first weapon that I crafted was the Atomizer. Another really good weapon you can use. You may also want to try to craft a weapon that doesn't use energy ammo. And the one that I crafted was the Blizzard Blitzer. That only uses medium ammo, and it's really good for Krampus smashers because it freezes them. Like I said, you also get 1 boss on this wave, so what you're going to want to do is probably have one of your farmers stand towards the outer edge of your base, look for the boss, and if they can find him, they're going to aggro him to the edge of the map and make him run over the edge of the map. And you're going to make all mini bosses run off the edge of the map when they spawn in. But that's where the first boss comes in, and again, right before the wave starts, you're going to want to have people looking out for that mini boss so they can make him run off the side of the map. Once somebody gets your aggro of him, everybody else can go back to the base or go back to farming. Alright, so for wave 9, we get a taker wave. And there's also going to be some flingers, but there's no element. And that's another timed wave. Wave 10 is also another timed wave. On this one, you're going to get fire enemies, as well as takers, smashers, and propanes. So you're going to want to use the Blizzard Blitzer on those smashers and takers. And wave 11 is another elemental wave where you're going to have to get kills. At this point, you still don't really need to place down any lethal traps. You're going to want to save those for wave 17. You should still be able to complete this wave with nothing but floor launchers and weapons. But yeah, for wave 11, you're going to get 2 bosses. And again, you're going to want to have everybody looking out for those bosses before they get inside your base so you can aggro them and make them run off the side of the cliff. Since it is an elimination wave, once you get rid of your mini bosses, you're going to want to have your builders go back to your base, and your farmers can either go back to the base and help get kills, or if you don't need their help, they can go back to farming. So wave 11 is another elimination wave that has mini bosses that you're going to want to keep an eye out for. Now the next 5 waves are all timed waves. You're not going to have to get any kills. You're just going to want to make sure that all of your traps have been replaced and everything's repaired and tier 3. On wave 12, you're going to get a lot of propane, some flingers, and a smasher. Again, with smashers, you're going to want to use your Blizzard Blitzer. And you're also going to get fire enemies for wave 12. You're also going to get fire enemies on wave 13. And on 13, you're only going to get some takers. So for that one, I would just recommend trying to get to the top of your build and running around away from the takers, because they're pretty fast and they deal a lot of damage at that point. Let's see, at wave 13, they are power level 421. So yeah, they deal a lot of damage at that point. So just try to run away from them, replace your traps, repair everything if you need to. And you can also drop slow fields if you have a lot of husks getting close to your base. On wave 14, you're going to get a lot of smashers. You definitely want to have your Blizzard Blitzer crafted by this point, because you're going to need to use that on the smashers when they come inside your base. Since it's not an elimination wave, you don't have to worry about killing all of the other husks. Just make sure you replace all your traps, and you're going to have fire enemies on this one as well. You have a lobber wave on 15. There's also going to be some propanes and some takers and smashers, and you're also going to get some more fire enemies. On wave 16, you're going to get some propanes, takers, and smashers again. And this time you're going to get nature enemies. And again, for all those non-elimination waves, you just want to replace your traps, repair any pieces that's broken, and try not to die for the most part. You don't have to worry about getting any kills. You may also want to try to freeze the smashers when they make it close to your base. But that's all you're going to have to do for those 5 waves. Now, wave 17, and this is probably the hardest wave. You're going to get 3 mini bosses, so you're going to need everybody looking for mini bosses before the wave starts, so you can aggro them and take them away from your base, make them run off the cliff. And the power level of the husk this wave is going to be 473, so you're going to want to have all your best weapons crafted at this point. I mainly used the Atomizer 9000 for the regular husk. When I ran out of energy ammo, I used another rocket launcher that used regular rocket ammo. And when I saw smashers, I used my Blizzard Blitzer. And on this wave, you're probably going to want to have your farmers come in and try to help out, or at least one of your farmers to come in and help out with the eliminations, because like I said, the power level is really high and it's going to take a lot of ammo to kill them. But if you can take those 3 mini bosses away from your base and get rid of them quickly, you should be able to get through this wave without too much trouble. But keep in mind that they can one-shot you at this point, so you're going to have to be really careful when you're taking out those enemies. And wave 17, you may also want to start placing down some lethal traps on wave 17. I'll show you which ones we used and where we placed them. And that's the last elimination wave in the power level 128 FROSTNITE. The last 3 waves are all timed waves, so the main thing you're going to have to do is just make sure you replace all your traps, repair anything that's broken, time your slow fields so that when your slow field goes away, your teammate can drop one. When theirs goes away, another teammate can drop theirs, and y'all can keep spamming slow fields for these last 3 waves. On wave 18, it's a heavy lobber wave. And you're also going to get some smashers as well as some water enemies. For wave 19, you're going to get some takers and smashers. And again, just try to avoid the takers because they can one-shot you. And just try to freeze the smashers. And you get water enemies on that one. And you also get water enemies on wave 20, as well as 4 mini bosses. Now, it's not an elimination wave, but this one is also a little bit difficult, because before the wave starts, you want to make sure that you aggro those 4 mini bosses. Get them as far away from your base as possible, make them run over the cliff, get rid of them, then come back to the base and just help repair and keep everything maintained. And that pretty much sums up the strategy we used for all 20 waves. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the build. And I'm going to try to run through this as quickly as possible. And basically, we're going to pretend that this is the burner right here. I'm going to build directly around it, above it, and we're going to build towards one of the sides. I'm not going to do all 4 sides, because once you do one side, you're going to do the same thing on one side to the other sides. Alright, so pretending that this is the burner, first thing you want to do is build an inverted pyramid all around it. Basically, you just want to put a bunch of pyramid pieces all around it, and then we're going to make an upside down pyramid. So let me go ahead and finish that real quick. And I'm not going to upgrade these to tier 3, but obviously you're going to want to upgrade it to tier 3. So boom, that's the first part. Next up, we're going to add some walls with a window, so you can add blue glow in there. Alright, now after that we're going to go ahead and add ceiling pieces all around. And on the corner pieces you're going to want to open up a little slot so you can get down in there if you need to and get back up to the second level. This is also where you're going to drop your materials if you're a farmer. If you're a constructor, you're going to place your base right here. Start getting those materials. And you're also going to put your teleporter on this level as well. So that way you can get in and out whenever you need to. So we're going to go and put one teleporter there. And there's one corner of FROSTNITE where you can build up to a second level. Like you can add one of these pieces and get up to the second level. And once you're up here, you can put your other teleporter up here. So that way when you're outside of the base, you can kill husks that are attacking it. You can check out your floor launchers. And then if you need to go back inside, boom. You're back inside, put the blue glow on the burner, collect your materials, and that's sort of where we put our teleporters and our base. Now at this point, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and build 3 tiles high in each direction. And technically you could start your lava shield at this point. But first thing I do is just build 3 tiles high in each direction. And you probably want to build with brick on this part, either brick or wood. You just want to save the metal for the pieces that are directly around the base. So let's go ahead and finish this out. And again, you're going to want to try to put these lava shields up before the lava wave, which I believe is wave 4. So the second builder should probably be focusing on doing this part, while the original builder is focusing on this stuff down there. After you get all this stuff done, the last thing you want to do is build like 4 or 5 tiles out. And you're going to want to do this in every direction, because this is going to prevent the lava from hitting your base. Once they see all these wooden pieces, they're just going to walk into your base instead of throwing projectiles. So you're going to want to go to about 4 tiles out maybe in each direction. I'm not going to do it because it's sort of a waste of wood here, but that's sort of what it's going to look like. And in between waves, you're going to want to come up here and check for supply drops and blue glows. And the last thing you need to do is add another floor layer. We're going to go ahead and add another one. You want to keep the edges open, just like with the layer below. Make sure you open up all these corner edges so you can get access to above and below if you need to. And obviously you're going to upgrade these to tier 3. And you're going to put anti-air traps on all of these other pieces. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the build that's directly around the burner. Now we're going to go ahead outside, and I'm going to show you how to build outside. So like I said, most of the traps that we use are floor launchers. Matter of fact, we use nothing but floor launchers all the way around. And basically what you want to do is you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you want to close this off. And then you're going to want to skip a spot and do the same thing over here. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. And basically we're just going to give them like little access areas in here. And obviously all of this is going to be covered with floor traps. I can't put it right there though. I'm only going to build for one side, but you're going to want to do this on every side. So I went ahead and built everything you're supposed to do for the sides. Basically you're going to want to build out 4 tiles and then put this little area right here with stairs inside to try to prevent them from going through here. We want them to go through our little pathways. You're going to put floor launchers right here, which is going to push them out. Again, floor launchers right here, which is going to push them out. And for the pieces right here, one thing you could do, I'm going to go ahead and run up here to show you all. You can put more floor launchers on this piece, and you can put wooden floor spikes on this piece, and you're going to switch them. Floor launcher, wooden floor spike, floor launcher, wooden floor spike, floor launcher. So if the floor launchers pushing them up here, the wooden floor spikes are going to slow them down. Same thing with the floor launchers, it'll slow them down, and it may actually, yeah, the floor launchers here should be able to push them up and over outside, make them start over. So, and you're going to do this in every direction. And for the elimination rounds, especially wave 17, you may want to start adding some wall traps, like either wall darts or broadside traps, just to help you do a little bit more damage. And another thing you could do is you could either add some like ceiling drop traps up there or some ceiling gas traps, just to help you out on those elimination waves. You can add some of those on the outside, but as long as you get all the floor launchers in here and you have everything upgraded, you should be pretty much good to go. But that's pretty much it when it comes to the build. Long Range did make this FROSTNITE build in creative mode. If y'all would like to check it out for yourself, I'll leave a link to the codes in the description where you can actually go into creative mode and check out the build for yourself. And big shout out to Long Range and Longhouse for not only making the build in creative mode, but for coming up with this build in FROSTNITE. They tried this build last year and it still works this year, so it's a really good build, and shout out to them too for coming up with it. Anyways, if you need some help with FROSTNITE, be sure to join our Discord or Facebook group. We got a lot of people on there looking for some help. Communication helps. If you have a mic, that's really good. If not, I'm sure it's doable without it, but it really does help having a microphone. That's pretty much everything I got for now. If there's any tips I'm missing, just let me know in the comments below. And like I said earlier, I've seen at least 3 different builds beat FROSTNITE. So if y'all would like us to show some other builds, then let me know in the comments below. But you should be able to beat it with this one without too much trouble. Anyways, that's everything I'm gonna go over for this one. I hope y'all found this video useful, and thanks for watching.